Boys and girls, one thing before we make an announcement, we're giving these congratulations on your certificates and your awards and your accomplishments. We're very proud of you. But there's someone else we're really, really proud of here too, because this is actually our last board meeting here at Sherman School for the year. And who is that person we're really, really proud of here, who is unfortunately retiring this year? Does anyone know? Can you raise your hand? Can you point to that person? Oh, there she is. You guys are on the ball. No wonder you got all those awards. But we just wanted to say as a board, Mrs. Christensen, of course, this is just the beginning of many accolades for you, which is well deserved, but since this is our last board meeting, we wanted to recognize Mrs. Christensen for all of her hard work, not only as a fifth grade teacher here, but also as our principal and our leader here at Sherman School. And we're very proud of you, Mrs. Christensen. We wish you well in the future, and we're going to miss you, but we've learned a lot, and you've really done a great job here. So, boys and girls, let's give it up for Mrs. Christensen. Thank you, Mrs. Christensen. And now, boys, some of you know, but I am a teacher. I am a third grade teacher, so I can assign you homework before you leave tonight, and I am going to do that and exercise that right that I have as a teacher in the state of New Jersey. And we're going to take a little break so you can go home and do any other homework that you have. But before you leave, your homework is you have to give Mrs. Christensen a hug before you leave. Okay? So we're going to take a brief adjournment. We're going to take a brief break. Thank you.
My grandpa has
I used that sometimes. I used it. Congratulations. I used the term wow. I'm not sure. I know I gave birth to her, but I guess I'll see you Thursday night.
and then you drop a $10.
I'm just going to move in with George. I'm going to move in with George.
And then you drop and then you're okay.
Vamos a la casa. Vamos a la casa. Pero anda, toma agua. González, apúrate.
And we're going to continue the meeting now with the superintendent's report. Mr. Burrito, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Miller, thank you. I would like to start off by letting the public know that we have ended round one of the park assessments. Everything's going very well. Again, we couldn't do it without the effort of our district testing coordinator, Mrs. Kostrom, the technology department, our administration, and our staff did an incredible job during the 2-3 weeks that we conducted the assessments. Round two of the park will begin at the end of April, and it goes into mid-May. So we're not finished with park yet. We have the end of the year assessment scheduled for the end of April into May. As everyone is aware, April is Autism Awareness Month. The Roselle Park School District is being very active in recognizing awareness for autism. On Thursday, we are encouraging the staff to wear blue and raise awareness for autism. So again, we have on the high school billboard, we have it up. All the school districts are doing something to raise awareness for autism. I also wanted to dedicate the rest of the time to speaking a little bit about our ECC, our Early Childhood Center, and some of the great things that are going on there. As you know, early education is a foundation for how our students are going to do here in the district for the 11, 12 years that they're here. The week of April 13th is being dedicated as the Week of the Young Child, and is an annual celebration sponsored by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, the world's largest early childhood education association, with nearly 80,000 members and a network of over 300 local, state, and regional affiliates. The purpose of the Week of the Young Child is to bring attention to the needs of young children and their families, and to recognize the early childhood programs, which we have a wonderful program. I don't know if anybody has been lucky to go visit our Early Childhood Center. It's such a happy place. and the children really get so much out of it. The ECC will be celebrating its young learners in many different ways from April 13th to the 17th. Just here are some of the schedule of events. On Monday is Fine Motor Skills Monday. That will be April the 13th, and we will have 2 family members per child welcome to come and participate in fine motor group activities with their child. On April 14th is Totally Artsy Tuesday, and the children will be participating in various art activities. Wednesday, April 15th is Work Together Wednesday. The children will be working on building projects with their peers. April 16th is Thankful Thursday. Children will be having a picnic with their friends. For this day, parents need to have filled out and return a thankful sheet, and they will have all kinds of friendship type of activities. On April 17th, which is the last day on Friday, April 17th, is Family Friday. And we'll be inviting members of families or special person is invited to join their child in a make and take art project. So we're very happy to celebrate the week of the young child. Once again, that is the foundation of our school district here, and I wanted to bring attention to that program as well. Now that we have full-day kindergarten, our preschool is as important as ever, and we really, the staff there is doing a wonderful job in preparing our children as they move on to in their educational journey. And that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrido. And now we're on to committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report they'd like to speak on? Mr. Dan?
I would just like to mention, that tomorrow we have our first workshop at the high school, Ms. Gershon, in the auditorium, 7 p.m. So if anybody would like to come or spread the word, Mrs. Gershon will be putting on a presentation about our budget, and please come out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a facilities committee report. Last board meeting, we had a architectural firm come in, Cora and Rubina. They went over some phases that they could do for the school district to look at our facilities, come up with some ideas of what we need to do, and repairs, that type of thing. Last week, the facility committee met with a proposal from this architectural group, and we had some questions that we wanted to be answered before we even presented it to the board. One of them was about when would they start. We said we couldn't start until July because it was not part of this year's budget. There was no money. That we couldn't do it, and they agreed that if we do approve it, that they will start now and we can build come July. So what I would like to ask the board members to do is look at each member has a copy of the proposal. I would ask that you look it over. It's only a 2-page. If you got the other one for some reason, but there's only 2 pages. This is the proposal. The other one was when we met. The facilities committee met 2 months ago. So look at the 2-page, it's got numbers in there. Please look at it. If you have any questions, please call the administration, and they can get the answer for you instead of going through me and I go to them. They can get it to you. What I'd like to do is, at our next board meeting, I'd like to put on the agenda to have it approved. So if you have any questions or concerns, please get with the Pedro or Sue, get your answers, your questions answered. All right, so Madam Clerk, I would appreciate that the members that aren't here tonight, that you would just kind of scan it and send an email to them so they have an opportunity to look at it also. instead of having somebody deliver it, it's just as easy to send to them. Just put a little note in there saying that this is the proposal, asking the board members to look it over, see if there's anything that they want to question it, and I'd like to put on the agenda for next board meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Harms. Anyone else? Seeing there is none, we'll close committee reports. And now we'll go on to the policy portion of the meeting, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 1 through 2.
Mr. President, I'll move items 1 and 2 on adopting policy assessing individual needs and cafeteria student account.
Okay, Mr. Bellman, first, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Harms. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Vice President Harms,
Yes?
Mr. Balaban,
Yes.
Mr. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Bruckenstein, Mr. Dam,
Yes.
Mr. Gerken, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Vita,
Yes.
President Miller.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now we're on to personnel, where I'd like someone to make a motion for agenda items 3 through 6, 3 being staff appointments, 4 being spring physical personnel, 5 being additional hours, and 6 being the ASYC counselor position. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Mr. Harms, second?
I'll second.
Second. Mr. Dam, any questions or comments? Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Vice President Harms,
Yes?
Mr. Balaban,
Yes.
Mr. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Bruckenstein, Mr. Dam,
Yes.
Mr. Gerken, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Vita,
Yes.
President Miller.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now we're on to education, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 7 through 9, 7 being education programs, 8 being educational trip requests, and 9 being harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents. Mr. Nelson, first, second? Second, Mr. Bowman. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed. And now we're on to business, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 10 through 15, 10 being approval of bills, 11 being district contract, 12 being secretary treasurer's report, 13 being transfer of attorney's contract resolution, 14 being grant application, and 15 being use of buildings and grounds. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Mr. Harms, second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Dam. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed. And now we're on to continuing business. Does anyone have, Mr. Garrido, continuing business?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. As of today, March 31st, there have been 3 students during the school year identified as not residing in Roselle Park. We continue to be vigilant in making sure that any students that are coming into the district from out of district, that it is investigated. And if the result is that they do not live here in town, that we do identify them and transfer them to their own home district. Thank you.
And now we're on to new business. Does anyone have any new business?
I just wanted to ask, because somebody asked me in the town, they recently moved, they said, do we have like a multicultural festival where schools, I guess where they came from, their school district had sort of like a multicultural festival. I mean, the program I know is like in district, that we have like a foreign language club, but I didn't think like we reached out to the whole community, like the whole community came to the school on that day. It was basically in-house.
It's in-house, and each school individually, they do have either multicultural events and things such as that within the classroom or school.
But maybe down the road.
Yeah, we could do it district. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mr. Balaban. And I remember a couple of years back, they might still do it. In the middle school, they had an international festival.
They do.
Yeah, and it was delicious. But besides educational.
Possibly something.
Yeah, oh, it was great. Anyone else for new business? And now we're on to the second public participation portion of the evening. If you'd like to speak on anything, please come forward, state your name, address, and what you'd like to talk about.
Good evening. My name is Sanjata Sekou. I live at 336 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park, New Jersey. My first question, there's been a lot of parents stating that the summer camp, Roselle Park summer camp, it's overcrowded. So I am here today to ask, one of my questions, I have 2 questions. My first question is, has there been any discussion on using one of the schools, whether Sherman, Aldine, or Robert Gordon, as a satellite for our summer camp? Or is that even a possibility at this point?
Mr. Rito?
Thank you for the question. We have it at the high school. As you know, the summer begins at the end of June, and by the end of August, we need to have it back ready for the children when they come in September. It's quite a big task because the custodians work very hard. There may be some maintenance. As you know, there's a lot of wear and tear during the school year. So what happens is we have to house these programs. We have the summer camp at the high school, but we also have what we call a Title I program that is housed at the middle school. We also have an extended year program for special needs students that is also in the middle school, and the ECC is used in parts of Aldine as well. So what happens is, in June, our director of plants and operations, she has to put a plan together, what building to start the maintenance, any construction that needs to be, and obviously to clean the building to get it ready for September. So there's a plan, and if any other building is used, it will really be very disruptive, and the concern is that it would not be ready for September when we need to have it ready for the children when they come in. But we will definitely address the issue if there is overcrowdedness, whether we need more personnel, or whether we need more space. As you know, the high school building is quite large. So we may be able to make some changes within the building there to provide more space. So I thank you for the question and the concern of the community. We'll see if we can do, Ms. Gershie or myself, we can address some of those concerns.
In particular, many of these parents were saying that you have kids who are first grade, second grade, third grade, and they're mixing in somewhere with older children. Not that they're in the same vicinity,
right,
but they're mixing in some way. So I'm wondering, is there a way in the interim to try to create an atmosphere where there's not much mixing with the smaller children versus children who are in a higher grades?
It may be difficult. Most summer camps, they do have a range of age, as you know, because that's what summer camp is.
Right.
But they are isolated depending on their age group. There may be some, well, not contact, but throughout the day that there may be a large group or younger group, but they're always supervised, and I know that because I've been at the summer camp at the high school, and they're always very properly supervised. But we will address that as well, and we'll bring that to the summer camp director. There is a director that works for the district, so we will certainly bring those concerns up to them.
Okay. For the next installment of the park test, the EOI, the end of year test. Now, I know New Jersey is not an opt-out state.
Right.
However, you may get incidents with parents saying they don't want their child to take the test.
Yes.
Now, is there a letter that's going to be submitted to the teacher or the district or yourself? What is the process for?
Yes, actually, this was addressed 2 meetings ago. We do have a procedure in place. We're not encouraging because, like you said, New Jersey is not an opt-out state. We do encourage the students to take it because it's not harmful. It's a first-year test. It is going to evolve as a test. I believe eventually the results are going to be very helpful to the teachers, to the parents, and more importantly for the students. But I can understand, having said that, I can understand the concerns of the parents. The procedure that we have in place right now is If a letter comes to the principal, it's always forwarded to the superintendent. The superintendent will either send a letter or an email back to the parents, letting them know what the procedure is. And the procedure is the students will come in, they will be brought to another place in the school where we already have a certified staff member there supervising, and they will be given an alternate assignment. Again, my concern with the opt-out, there's so much misinformation and myth about the park. It is not much different than the NJS. The biggest difference is it's taken on a computer now instead of paper and pencil. As you know, most of the tests that children are going to take in the future is going to be computer-based. And that's just a fact of life. That is the 21st century. That is something that, where the world is going, whether we agree with it or not. The other difference is that it is aligned to the Common Core standards. The Common Core standards are, they require higher, the standards are much more challenging. So therefore, we are preparing the students for that challenge. But the legislation, about a month ago, they voted on that the test itself, there's going to be a 3-year moratorium, that it's not going to count for placement, it's not going to count for graduation purposes or for teacher evaluation scoring. So I really believe that in the interim, it would be in the best interest of the children to take it. Again, most of our students took it in Roselle Park. I didn't hear of any students being traumatized in any way. I believe, as a matter of fact, when we debriefed the students, asking, I was in one of the 5th grade classes, they said it was a lot of fun. I asked them, was it very challenging? They did say the language arts was a little easier than the math, so, those are challenges that we bring up. But again, I really believe, and I've been in education for a long time, that these part tests are going to eventually be very helpful for the children. And I don't know if you read, community colleges, all 19 community colleges in the state of New Jersey already came out with, they're going to use the park test for the results as a criteria, one of the criteria for acceptance into community colleges. So, there's something there. There is support. The Department of Education is in full support. The state PTA, New Jersey PTA, is in full support. So there are a lot of credible groups that are in support of the park. So, I think it's too early. We haven't even gotten anything back yet. We haven't completed testing yet. To say, maybe we need to back up. So again, I encourage parents to allow the students, to give it a try and give it the best try. That's all we ask for the children. Do the best that you can, and I think that's the best sign or signal that we want to send out.
My last question is, I know at the end of this school year for the entire board, the teacher's contract is up. At this point, has any committees been formed? Has any negotiation started with that?
Mr. Arms?
Yes, the committee has been, we've met already, and we have another scheduled meeting.
So, can we say at this point that it won't be contentious as it was last time, or it's too early to say?
No comment.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel.
All right.
Anyone else for public?
Zolkers 150 Berlin Street. So tomorrow is the first budget workshop seminar. Is the second one Thursday?
No.
It's on your website.
April 22nd.
If you check the website now, you'll see that it was corrected.
Because I'm like, wow,
At
okay.
first,
There's going to be a lot of meetings.
Put it up, made
Okay.
a mistake. It shows
22nd.
April 22nd. Instead, they forgot the 2nd too.
No. Yeah.
It is now correctly posted.
Okay, and then the budget will be,
The public hearing is scheduled for April 28th, if that was going to be the question.
correct, and is that the same date that the vote will take place?
No, the vote will take place at the following board meeting, which is the first meeting in May, which the date I don't have.
It's all right.
But it's the first meeting in May.
And have all the state aid, additional grants, that's all committed, everything is now in the budget. Tentative, there's no changes in the tentative budget due to any,
Well, the hearing is tomorrow night, but no, there's no change.
That's the last meeting,
That's the
okay.
last meeting.
any update on the grants?
Grants?
As of now, there's, everything is status quo. I did receive two narratives that was sent out to two organizations for grants. One was the RGK Foundation grant,
Okay.
and the grant writer did a wonderful job. I really believe we will have a very good shot at it. The other one was the Makerspace narrative for the high school for the 3D printer. So that has been sent out to the organizations. It's a slow process. I wish I could have more information for you, but hopefully in the near future.
That's fine. And just to maintain consistency, did the two absent board members relay their absence to
Yes.
the board?
They contacted me.
Okay. And those will be the only two budget workshops tomorrow on the 22nd?
As of now, they're the only two that are
Okay.
scheduled.
And at 6 o'clock for both?
7.
7 p.m. in the high school auditorium.
Because that one says 6. Again,
What's that say?
Tomorrow.
I think tomorrow's.
It's on the website?
I think so.
All right, we'll
We'll check.
Okay, thank
But
you.
it is scheduled for 7 p.m. in the high
For
school
both?
auditorium.
And both will be in the high school?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, and the last question. Does the school district follow general acceptable accounting standards?
Yes, we must find.
The town doesn't, but that's another story. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we close the public participation portion of the evening, I just wanted, Mr. Sekou, thank you for your comments. I just wanted to chime in real quick. And just concerning the summer camp, I think maybe when those parents who are concerned about the overcrowding, I mean, but when the registration is complete and we get the numbers, I think being transparent to the public as far as, these are the numbers and these are where they're going to go. We'll be very transparent and open to the public as far as, where their children are, whether they're younger or older, and where they're going to be. So they can have a peace of mind logistically of where their children will be.
Mr. President, I agree we can do that, but the board has no control over the summer camp. I think it would not be a very good idea that we start putting, I'll call it our 2 cents into there. I don't disagree that we should suggest that if there is this, a first grader with an 8th grader,
Yes.
in there. But again, you might have it, if they take art classes in there, you might have a first grader with an 8th grader in there taking art. So you wouldn't want to have one person in first grade who really has compassion for art, not to take it because they're in first grade, because there are other, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in there.
Sure.
So again, I don't disagree that we should mention to them that there were some concerns by parents attending the summer camp, but I really don't think that the board has never interfered in how they run their program. This program has been very successful for them. It's made them money, it has made us money, where what I mean by that is that they have donated air conditionings and the things, they've done, all these things here. So again, and they pay all the salaries, we do not pay anything. It's self-sustaining itself. So with that said, okay.
Thank you.
I know, I'm not saying, I just wanted to make sure that we're not gonna say that we're gonna be transparent with something that, we can tell them how many people, but.
Sure. And we can make that suggestion. We can.
Exactly.
Thoughts.
Right. No.
Okay.
No. There's only one time to come up.
Okay.
Okay, so
One time you come up.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's only one
it's
time.
only one time you can come
Yeah.
here? Is that a bylaw? Is that?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, so my question
That's,
is,
that's it, you're done.
there's no need for
Next
contention.
meeting.
You said we're gonna have no contention. Now you have contention with me. So I don't know what's all this, I don't know what's all that for. Because I haven't disrespected you, I've said nothing to you, but yet you are having contention with me. Okay, since that's the law,
Please have the gentleman sit.
since that's the law,
Yes.
since that's the rule, I'll be back next month and I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Singer.
All of that wasn't necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Singer.
Anyone else?
Huh?
Seeing there's none, we'll close the second public participation portion of the evening. And now do we have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bellman, second. Mr. Harms?
Yes.
We are adjourned. We'll see you next meeting. All in favor? Aye. We are closed and we'll see you April 14th at 6:30 p.m.